Why is it so hard to be kind to ourselves? My dad the other day told me to be kinder to myself. After he had berated me for 10 minutes about some parking violations that I received for parking when the street sweeper was, going through the neighborhood. And I thought to myself, wow, what a hypocrite. Not just because he was berating me and telling me to be kinder to myself, but the fact that he is his biggest critic, right? My dad is someone who has never been really satisfied with his work. He does it um, for the sake of other people and sometimes not for himself, right? And I feel the same way about myself. There's times where I find that I'm so focused on the end result, on the goal, that I don't really appreciate the flowers that I've blossomed and that I've left behind. And, it's hard to be, kind to yourself. It's hard to give yourself credit when you don't, reach that certain goal. But, you know, with all the evidence that we've gained through, whatever it is, we're capable of so much more. Why aren't we just kinder to ourselves, right? Why don't we give ourselves enough credit? And I think it stems from a lot of things, right? One of those things being expectations, right? Expectations are such a big pressure in life. Expectations of being a doctor, of being, the next big artist, or, whatever it may be. If we're not that, we often aren't kind to ourselves, right? And it's very unfortunate. We often aren't kind to ourselves because, other people aren't kind to us. When I was younger, I had cancer, I had leukemia. And from 4 to 9, I went through treatment and I would balloon and I would get really fat on steroids and I'd get bald because I was taking chemotherapy, and then I get really skinny, and kids used to make fun of me for it. I had no control over this. And once I finally, beat cancer, I thought people would be like, there was people who were like, congratulations, and like, you're so strong. But there were other kids who were like, I could do that. I could have beat cancer. And I'm like, bro, your ass can't even do the homework. Like, beat cancer, like, what? And but I let it get to me. I as a kid, I really just didn't tell people that I had achieved this, that I had survived cancer. And because of these external factors, I would, pity myself, and I would look down on myself, and it built a really negative viewpoint of myself, right? It's like, it's not really that impressive, right? I started discrediting my own, flowers and discarding them, than really appreciating them for what they were. And a lot of this leached into my personal life with people, right? I found myself thinking I was better than others at some point whenever it came to like music, or when it came to basketball, or things that I thought I was pretty good at. I would be like, it's okay, it sounds like so and so. Instead of being like, this sounds good, I see the influence. I would just discredit people, right? And that's something that is like, you reflect onto others what you think about yourself. And this is so incredibly true when it comes to being kind, right? The more that you are kinder to yourself, the more that you can, exuberate that energy out, right? And it's so relieving once you figure this out. It's so relieving once you do it in practice. You just say, hey man, like, I like your shirt. The other day, I took a picture of this guy's Pikachu shirt. I'm like, hey man, really great shirt. You got a great smile. And I don't know if it made his day, but he was like, thanks, man. I really appreciate it. Just being kind to ourselves will help us be kind in every other aspect of our life.